Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Play .hackgu. This is Something of Artist. Last time I put together this little skit thing for after Ovan activated the rebirth. I don't know. I just kind of felt like doing something a little different, you know. So I figured that point in the story was pretty good to try something on. Maybe it went on a little longer than it should have, but you know, whatever. But other than that, we got picked up by Zelkova, as well as everybody else in our party, and it's just basically explaining like Netslum and stuff like that, because Netslum from the first series is back now, so that's a thing. That's a random thing that just happened. Yeah, and then Haseo has his new form now. Well, I'll talk about his new form in a little bit, because I kind of forget how quickly we're gonna be going into like any kind of story thing, and I don't want to just have to stop in the middle of it. But everybody seems to be okay, but there's like some kind of doom on the horizon, so I'm sure we'll be able to take care of it. Looks like Sirius is back after the rebirth happened. Yeah, so a lot of the people from the comas are waking up, but Alcade hasn't, and neither has Shino. So that's cool. I'm glad the two main people that fell into comas are still into comas after all this. Yeah, I still have a lot I want to talk about with Ovan too, and I feel like there's going to be some time to open it up.
It looks like you made it.
But yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. I just got I've been using earphones to listen to the audio while I'm commentating this, so there won't be any kind of like echoing effect or anything. I just keep one bud in my ear and one bud, like, I don't know, down my shirt or down my hoodie or whatever. They died out yesterday, so I went and bought a pair of new headphones, like over-the-head ones. They were supposed to be really good, and they are, but I started recording the commentary with both of them on my head, and it's like I cannot tell how loud I'm speaking, and that's precisely why I was using earbuds in the first place. So, in lieu of just pausing this whole thing and then resuming with my earphones, because I also had bought another pair of earphones along with the headphones, because that's fun. I didn't know how well these headphones were going to work out, and also carrying headphones around is a pain in the ass, so like when I go for walks and stuff, I can use these big headphones because they're just right here at my house. If I'm just going out for wherever, like if I'm going out somewhere after work, like to walk the reservoir or something, you can have my earphones with me, and I guess my earphones with this too. Yeah, it was like kind of like a pain in the ass buying them too, because I don't even know if it's like worth bringing up, but since this is all just recapping stuff about what just happened, I might as well just kill a little time. So I went to FYE actually to buy these headphones, because that's the closest place to me that actually sells, like, that I had thought, like, you know, focused on selling good headphones. Because I didn't really want to have to wait until, I don't know, I really just didn't want to wait. I had to go out and buy, something for my parents too, so it was no big deal. But, when I was at FYE, like, one of the few remaining FYEs in the world, may I say, some of you may be wondering, what the hell is FYE? FYE was like a music and media store that has pretty much, almost completely died out. There's a couple of them here and there, but since nobody seems to want physical media anymore, it's kind of like they kind of calm down on a lot of that and sell more things like toys and shirts of pop culture, lots of Funko Pops, and then they sell like records and some CDs and DVDs still, but not nearly as much as they used to have. But anyway, so one thing that FYE has always, well, not always, but I've commonly seen it, but especially so after they started closing down a lot of stores, is they really want to like push like adding a bunch of shit onto your sale that you don't really need. I'm not talking like actual merchandise, like they have like a discount card there, which is cool and everything, but it's like it's a paid for discount card, and I don't shop enough at FYE anymore to really like want to pay for it. And it's one of those things where it's like the first month is free, and then you got to start paying a fee, and I forget what the fee is. I don't really care either. I just know, like, I remember like a few years ago, I wanted to reopen because they changed like the terms of their card like a number of times, but anyway, the last time I tried to do it was like a few years ago, and the guy was talking to me about the card and it's free and everything like that, and I wanted to make sure it's not a credit card, okay? It's not going to cost anything, right? It's like, yeah, it's fine. And then he tells me, after asking him, does it cost anything? And he said no. Like, immediately after I had finished my purchase, he was saying, they'll start charging you then for the card once your month is over for the free trial. And I kind of looked at him and was like, really? But I was like, okay, you know, retail. These guys have to do their job. I know. And it was a pain in the ass to like sign off of the free membership thing too. I don't know why, but I remember I had to like get on the phone with like customer service and stuff like that. I spent like 10 minutes trying to like just tell them I don't want to be part of this card. I didn't know it was like this. You guys kind of like tricked me into it. And they're just like, are you sure? Because this and this and this and this. And it's like, no. So yesterday when I go in, the clerk is asking me about this for like multiple times. And it was kind of like, she was really kind of getting like a little like,
Something he has to tell me.
not aggressive, but it's like, I was getting to a point where it's like, all right, I don't know how many times I can say no, but I'm not interested. But she was just like, she must have asked me like 5 times while I was at the register if I wanted this card. And it was like, it's a little much. Kind of makes me not want to go into FYE. This is what I have to do every single time I buy something. But yeah, and then afterwards it's like, for whatever reason, FYE, Suncoast, they like to like throw these like free magazine subscriptions onto you too, and it's like there's nothing there I would want to read. I don't really read magazines to start with. The only magazine subscriptions I've ever been a part of are when I was a kid, and that was Nintendo Power and what was it? Was it Beckett? Is Beckett like a thing? Like one of those like fan Digimon magazines. I'm curious now. I'm just curious. Okay. I think it may have been. I'm not sure, but yeah, those were the only 2 magazines I've ever really read. I don't really read magazines or anything like that, but then all these things were just like things I weren't interested in too, and it was weird because it was like a lot of like sports, like beauty tips, like things you would like imagine like seeing at like a supermarket and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird they wouldn't have any like music magazines or anything else relating to the store, but whatever. That was my stupid story to kill time. Here's a cutscene. Let's talk about let's go from one stupid thing to another, because oh boy, you know, I hate saying oh boy and everything, like it's gonna be the worst thing in the world. As much as I complain about GU, it's far from the worst thing in the world. But
it's been a while, hasn't it?
But let's just see what happens.
Yata, what did you mean by what you said in that email?
Look below you.
So you guys remember way back in Volume 1 when I had said I thought Sakaki was alluding to something in this area, and I wasn't sure if he meant behind the wall or something else we'll find out much later. Well, this was that thing. And since we're on a roll with the original series callbacks, I'm sure all fans of the original .hack series can recognize those iconic 4 eyes. But if not, Yata here will
What is that?
explain it, I guess.
I've found several areas in the world exhibiting the same phenomenon.
I love how Yata and Ovan
Furthermore,
both, like,
this is
refer to,
something
like, things as
completely different from the
phenomenon.
Ida phenomenon.
It's like their favorite word.
It's not Ida? Then what is it?
I believe it is an anti-existence.
Anti-existence?
And
Do you
anti-existence.
remember Fidel's prophecy, Aseo?
Like, there's more than one. Well, there could be. I honestly... You'd have to define anti-existence, but...
This is the giant shadow. Then this is the anti-existence of rebirth.
Anti-existence?
It is the shadow of the Morgana factor. In other words, of we epitaph users.
This is a thing that's gonna bother me a lot,
Use of a
because
power
it's
that was
like...
not meant to exist, created
Is it the
anomalies
shadow
made,
of the rebirth, or the shadow of the epitaph users?
and
Because
the
they're
light
like
of the rebirth
different things.
created this as its shadow.
I guess that's an explanation, but I don't know.
Yes. Its name is Cubia.
Yep,
Cubia?
Cubia's back, everybody. Just out of fucking nowhere, Cubia's back.
The bitter legacy left to us by Ovan. If the effects resulting from the rebirth were spread throughout the entire network, then Cubia will also spread, not just throughout the world, but the entire network as well.
So what you're saying is it's kind of like Ida.
True destruction is now beginning. The true apocalypse.
Wait a minute. What about Alcade?
Yeah, I miss my
And
waifu. Oh yeah, and Chino too.
Their consciousnesses are probably still in the world.
I will take responsibility for what I've done.
See,
in the past.
they're making it seem like if Cubia spreads, they'll be wiped out. Their, like, consciousnesses will be wiped out, but it's like, if the rebirth,
When the
like,
world and
reset
the
everything,
were in
then,
danger, I was indeed on the battlefield.
you know... Oh, by the way, Yata on the battlefield. In the online game. I don't know why, I think it's so funny he refers to it as the battlefield.
Second network crisis?
The anti-existence Cubia was present then as well.
And I don't know why, they say Cubia like so weird, like Cubia,
Monsters shown
like so quickly.
Ovan eliminated Ida at the cost of his life. He cured the lost ones and protected the world. Now, let me protect it with my life as well. Surely that would fulfill his dying wish.
Is he dead though? Thought we weren't sure.
Looks like you're finally saying what you mean.
I will not allow the world to be destroyed.
Not before it loves me back. And Yata's member address, like 3 games in.
Kenshino's consciousnesses are still wandering in the world.
They are.
They won't be destroyed. I'll protect them with my life.
Alright, there are... I guess one of the consequences of doing the Volume 3 editing like I've been doing is that there's really no, like, good point to, like, sit down and kind of have, like, a lengthy discussion about some of the things I'm feeling. But, so I don't even know where to fucking start. Are we at a good spot? I'm not sure. Oh, by the way, you have a level 3 dual guns art as well. I'll talk more about the God. I should make a list. I should make a list because I don't know what to say or do here. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be going into an area in a little bit, so I guess I'll save some thoughts for there. But in the meantime, let's go check the mail. Who do we have here right now? Yeah, we were talking with Saku earlier, so... You know, long story short, we convinced Saku to stick around. You can apparently make her go away if you really want to. I don't know, I've always wanted her to stay around, as annoying as she is. I don't know. It's just, you know, I don't know, like Saku and Bo, like, I like the mechanic that they're like, they were two people playing one character. Like, that was really interesting and unique, and I kind of wish they, like, did more with it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm happy it's still here in the first place, so, without Saku, it's just kind of like a weird little boy. And Yata has more to say about Cubia. They've sensed, CC Corp's management has sensed Cubia's presence and fallen into turmoil. 7 years ago, the Pluto Again incident, when the second network crisis began again, Cubia was there well. Yeah, so something that GU never really, I know I've said this over and over and over again, but something GU doesn't really do particularly well is explaining, like, the, context of the real world in this, game. Hold that thought, because we do have an important email coming up next. As you can see, it's from motherfucking Aina, Ovan's little sister with her huge strand of hair. I am waiting for you in front of the Beast Temple at this. You know who I am, don't you? Like, this struck me as so weird when I saw it. Like, first of all, what an extremely rude email. No introductions or anything. You're just like assuming you know who you are, and then it's like it's so blunt. It's like, come meet me here. Like, you can't ever meet in a town or anything. It's so crazy. But anyway, so just as like a refresher for anybody that may not be aware, so the world of .hack in the year, I think it was like 2005 or so, this hacker caused a lot of issues in the real world, and kind of like, I don't know exactly what he did. He did some kind of like permanent damage to the internet, and it was called the Pluto's Kiss incident. And for a couple of years, like, the internet was like down, I guess you could say. Oh man, we have this guy to go through too. I want to fucking talk about shit. Damn it. You know what? I hate this guy. I don't care. I'll finish my story here. So that happened, and the reason why the world was so popular in the first place was because it was like one of like the first big things involving the internet to like come back after the Pluto's Kiss incident. The Pluto Again incident that they were talking about was the second network crisis, Pluto's Kiss being the first network crisis. And that was like the events that towards the end of the original series. And this was as I don't know. They were saying earlier the Rebirth was like the third network crisis, and now Yata's like saying when Cubia comes out, that'll be the third network crisis. I don't fucking know. What are these jokers doing?
Excellent.
More breaking and entering.
Friend of mine for a little backup on this one.
A hacker friend of mine.
I haven't been looking for your students just out of
Maybe it's Helba.
curiosity.
Don't want to spoil the fun for anybody, but no, Helba will not be returning in GU. Helba was one of the few returning characters or things in the original generation of .hack media, because originally each piece of the .hack franchise kind of like just stood on its own, and aside from a couple of things, they didn't really have much to do with each other. They all just kind of like told different stories about a bigger whole of like this kind of world. GU is obviously very different, as I've said multiple times before, where they all just kind of relate to Haseo and just kind of retell GU or tell some part of Haseo's life. Oh yeah, remember that? That was that was stupid.
About a week or two old, I'd say.
I like how he knows that. Like a lot of his food must be like just based on how old it tastes. Oh. It was Ovan, so I guess this is when the rebirth was actually happening. I don't know where they are. I wasn't paying attention, and let's be honest, it probably doesn't matter. These guys are looking into the world more closely. They found the rebirth happening, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? I can't stand Salvador Ihara. Why did I leave this in? Why did I choose to leave them in? Wanted to, like, just show it off as, like, part of the game, but whatever.
I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's, there's bigger things to talk about. Let's, I don't know. Cubia just kind of shows up out of nowhere. So Cubia was definitely one of my favorite antagonists, I guess you could say, of the original series. There was nothing particularly special about him, but I just had, like, such an obsession about Cubia when I was younger. Like, when you fought a phase, one of the 8 phases of Morgana, in the original series, you were usually transported to, like, a different, like, weirder area, kind of like what happens when you have the Avatar battles, but it's, like, it's grounded. It kind of looks like this ruined, like, battlefield or, like, religious place or something like that. Cubia was kind of similar, where, like, you were kind of, like, transported to, like, I don't know, like, this dark wasteland, and you fought on top of this, what I called a coffee table. Because it reminded me of those clear coffee tables that some people have. It was basically kind of like Kite's bracelet, but there was, like, just, you know, like a top to it where you could fight on. And that was, like, your battlefield for fighting Cubia, and Cubia was, like, the giant monster that was, like, kind of behind it. You didn't really fight it directly. It sent out its Gamoras, which I've mentioned several times before. They kind of acted like Ovan's, like, neighbors, that they were called in his fights, where someone would heal it, some would heal it, and some would do damage, but there was also, like, a core. That was, like, your main thing that you were fighting. So you could deal with the Gamoras if you wanted to, or you can just go for the core. And Cubia was born out of, that's always been a little weird to me. Cubia shows up when you defeat the first phase, but he's really the shadow to Kite's bracelet. Because, like, the whole thing with Cubia is it's an anti-existence, so it's kind of meant to, like, counterbalance, like, a huge irregularity in the game, I guess. So since Kite's bracelet was such a huge irregularity, it was created to balance that. I don't know why it didn't show up until, like, the first phase was defeated. You could almost even say it was born out of the first phase. Because, like, the first phase, like, melts in, like, this, like, I don't know, looks like liquid metal or something like that. And then, like, after that happens, like, all of Cubia's, like, branches and stuff, like, start spouting. Yeah, Cubia is, like, a weird-looking thing. It looks like a monster, like a skull with 4 eyes, but then it also has, like, all of these, like, blue branches, like, across it. It's, I don't know. And it keeps getting, like, bigger and bigger as the games go on. You fight it, like, 4 times, too. I really like the music in those fights as well. But, Kite realizes that Cubia is never going to be completely defeated as long as the bracelet's around, so he and Black Rose destroy the bracelet towards the end of the final volume in the original series, and that, like, defeats Cubia. He dissolves in, like, binary numbers. He just, like, turns into, like, a bunch of green ones and zeros, like the Matrix, and, like, just kind of fades away. Yeah, in fact, there was, like, a lot of speculation when the first trailers for GU came out that Tri-Edge was actually Cubia, like, Cubia Reborn, because, since Cubia is, like, an anti-existence of, the bracelet, one interesting thing that I never really noticed until someone pointed it out in, like, a comment for the GU trailers was that when you fought Cubia, inside the core was, like an all-black, like, curled-up Kite. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because it's like Kite's the one that has the bracelet. So that made a lot of sense when they were, like, speculating about who Tri-Edge was, because they were thinking it was that kite inside of his core. Plus, when and I think I might have pointed this out all the way back in Volume 1 too. When Triads used Data Drain on Haseo, the bracelet was missing like a fragment, and that was like where Black Rose had struck the bracelet to begin destroying it. I don't think that's the case anymore, unfortunately. In fact, I know it's not the case anymore. That would have been really interesting, because it's like, that would have been a good way to bring Cubia back into the story, because now it's like Cubia's just like coming out of nowhere. In fact, I'm just gonna say this right now. The thing with Ovan and the Rebirth, I kind of feel like that should have been the end of the game. Like, I definitely was like super disappointed the way everything with Ovan ended up. Like, I don't know. I thought his reasonings for doing things were like a letdown. I thought that Haseo couldn't get like any kind of real closure from Ovan was a letdown. I'm like super pissed that Haseo... Well, actually, I'm really happy Haseo like flipped out on Ovan and like called him like a fucking bitch for everything he's done. But I am kind of unhappy, really unhappy actually, that from this point on, Ovan will be looked on as a martyr. Like, he did this big, selfless act about saving everybody, about saving the coma victims and stuff like that, and it's like, no, Ovan caused the coma victims. Like, what are you talking about? But we'll get more there, because more of that's coming, and I'll have stuff to say about that. But anyway, all the stuff that happens after here really kind of feels like an afterthought. Like, it's just kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, bringing Netslum in out of nowhere, bringing Cubia in out of nowhere. It kind of feels like it's just kind of padding out the game a little bit more. I don't know. Let's move on to something else. So, Haseo's new form here. You may have just seen the thing about cheat codes. So, Zelkova tampered with Haseo's character data, and now he has another form, stupidly called the Xth form. And may I say, Xth is not exactly a term that rolls off my tongue very easily. So automatically just kind of disliking it. I'm not I don't know. He like I know I make fun of Haseo for like wearing like all black and red and everything like that, and comparing him to Shadow the Hedgehog like all the time. But, you know, I gotta say, after that, like, little monologue he had with himself about, like, being, like, reborn into someone else, and now he's, like, in all white, it's kind of a little pretentious to me. I used to like this form a little better, but it definitely was my least favorite of all the forms. Now it just kind of is like, oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm not really a fan of the hair too much. Like, I wasn't a fan of Haseo's hair to start with, but now I just kind of feel like, I don't know, something about it just bugs me. I hate the decoration on his back, on his, like, neck, I should say. It looks like he's wearing a sleeveless sweater. That's super weird. He has, like, plates on his butt. I don't know why. Oh, and I guess we're here, and I didn't get to finish my story, god damn it!
You're Haseo, aren't you?
I am, Ina. Nice to meet you. Do you like the plates on my butt?
I'm Ina.
I guess you finally woke up.
I was asleep for quite a long time.
How do you know who I am? I thought you were unconscious when Ovan and I first met each other.
I was unconscious in the real world, but I have memories of the world. They are my brother's memories.
What?
Ovan's?
My sleeping consciousness would sometimes connect with the Ida in my brother's left arm. I saw faint visions of what was happening in the world. It was almost as if I were dreaming.
Huh. Wonder if Shino and some of the other victims could do that too.
And so that's why I was with my
Wink,
brother.
wink.
Always with him.
Well, that's good. Ovan's greatest hope was to bring you back to consciousness.
Shut up, Haseo, you don't know.
I'm sure he'd be...
Stop talking like...
Good.
Never mind.
Huh?
What's good about this?
She's so ungrateful.
My brother is comatose, wavering between life and death.
So he's not dead then.
I see.
Or I don't know, because realistically, how does Aina know? Because they're supposed to be like separated in the real world or whatever.
I'm sure that Ovan suffered much deeper.
Ovan was at ground zero of the rebirth.
So he's in a coma.
It's...
Haseo, I was
So were you, Haseo! So was Aina! You're both fine!
My brother saved you, remember? He guided you and helped you. So I don't understand. Why didn't you save him?
Yeah, like I was mentioning before, like, all of the things Haseo was bringing up about Ovan, they were actually pretty valid points. Like, he was super whiny about it, yeah, but, like, Ovan was kind of, like, unnecessarily ambiguous and jerky about everything. And Haseo, I felt like, got this great, like, cathartic release, like, flipping out on Ovan after everything was said and done.
Is that because of Cubia's presence?
And all that's, like, gone now.
Raven's at home.
Because it's like everybody wants to make Ovan be a martyr now. Like, he was such a great man. He was trying to save us all along. All he wanted to do was protect his little sister. That was, like, a really weird story device that came in, like, super late and wasn't mentioned at all until this volume. So I kind of feel like they didn't know what to do with Ovan until they were writing the script for this volume. Like a lot of the things in GU, and maybe that's why the script in GU Volume 3 doesn't really sound very good to me at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get, like, a good spot to, like, rant and bitch and everything, and I'm sure everybody's kind of tired of me ranting and bitching like this. I can only imagine, like a legit GU fan, like, sitting, watching this Let's Play with, like, their arms folded, being like, I don't know why I'm still watching this guy. This guy is just the worst. But, yeah, I don't know. There's gonna be post-game videos for this where very little story stuff is happening, so I suppose I can leave a lot for there.
Fragmented and has begun corroding various areas. This is a huge burden, not just for the world system, but for the entire network.
Yeah, they keep talking about how Cubia is going to be so destructive for the
I think we can presume this is
for the network. I'm very confused because the rebirth, while it was getting rid of Aina,
at this rate, it's likely
immediately after the rebirth, they were going on and on about, like, all the horrible things happening in the world. It's like the horrible things happened.
Teetering on the verge of the third network crisis.
No, Yata, the third network crisis already happened.
Oh, Haseo!
Didn't it? Did it not?
Whoa! What's wrong?
It's Aina. Some terrible monster I've never seen before is after Aina.
Okay. So why are you
Never seen before.
here and not fighting it?
no doubt Cubia is involved.
Like, what happened here where, like, after Aina ran away, she hit a Bo, and it's like, Bo, come hang out with me. I need to talk to someone. I'm so mad at Haseo. So he goes there, and the monster starts attacking, and Bo just leaves.
Ovan
For hell- like,
sacrificed
what?
himself to save that tiny life.
He has sacrificed himself. How many times is Ovan going to be talked about like he's sacrificing himself?
Yes, I'm searching for her now. I found her. Aina's current position is Sigma fleeing, dismayed, emotion.
I want to go too. Please take me with you, Haseo.
All right, come on. We've got to hurry.
Alright, so video's almost over. Sorry this has been, like, my thoughts are, like, kind of a mess everywhere. It's gonna be a little difficult for me to, like, piece everything together. Maybe I should, like, write some points down for, like, episodes I know that are gonna, like,
Aina. She's Ovan's little
be a little better to talk about. I think next episode I'm gonna have more time, but But we'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching today's video, guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye.